You, Edith, you're always so punctual. I love that about you. All right, I'm gonna. Oh, I unmuted you. No, you gotta unmute yourself again. Go ahead.
Oh, hi everybody. Good morning. Good afternoon where I am.
Yeah.
So I had an appointment Friday, this past Friday. I did a walkthrough. The lady that I met with, she's ready to move, but her husband is still on the fence. So she's trying to convince him to put the house up for sale. They're retired, so they want to downsize. But the appointment went very well. I had a follow-up with her on Monday, where I went over all the comps and the data in her area. So as of right now, and she's also having me send her listing. She wants to look at some ranches in a different market. So it went very well. So the conversation has been started. She told me, she said, as soon as I get my husband on board, we'll be calling you to get our house on the market. So that was the latest appointment I had, an update from one of the leads through StreetText.
Good stuff. That's awesome. Anybody else have any updates, listing appointments, any you guys, wins are conversations to me. So if you've had a conversation started, that's a win. Anybody want to share? Like, Edith shares every week. So I want to actually encourage you just to unmute yourself and be bold right now, and just bold as a lion, share your win, any win. Someone's replies in the email, it's a win for me because we can take that. Yeah, Jessica, go for it.
Hi. So I'm Jessica, and I just signed up for StreetText last night. I did my 7-day trial, and I actually have 3 listing appointments. I have 2 this week. I have 1 next week, and I actually have 2 more that I'm lining up for next week as well. Nice. So super exciting, and all from StreetText.
Okay, I'm not going to let you off the hook here because everybody's going to be like, well, why am I not doing this? Tell us how that happened. What particular, did you have a script? How did the conversation start initially?
So I actually copy and pasted. So when I was in one of your classes that we did last week, you had one of your examples was this lady, and she did this amazing, I took a screenshot of it, and it was this email that just was a quick reply, and I've been utilizing that, and it's been working. And then also I've been doing some video, not a lot, but I do a little bit. And then just really a lot of them, I think that my market, like no other agents are really utilizing Facebook. And so I was fortunate. I think I just kind of fell into the right place because I got a ton of leads and a lot of interest. And I look at it like I now have, 43 emails that I didn't have last week. So to me, that's a win, even if it's just the emails.
Oh my God. That's huge. That's a huge opportunity because you can get face-to-face with every single one of those people, especially with the bomb. Now, because you had 3, you said a total of 3 appointments. Now, what was the email? Because I share a lot of emails. What was a specific email and script? Was it a text-based script that you used?
It was. Let me go ahead and pull it up real quick, and I can let you know what it said. You submitted your information for home valuation on Facebook regarding your property at that address. I did the research on the homes that have recently sold in your neighborhood. Without looking at it, I can do my best online internet guess. Ooh. And then it said, I know I can do better than this. And I think that's what sold it. I know that I gave them a wide range. And then it was, I know I can do better than this. Let's chat. And just kept it really casual.
That is awesome. I'm going to show everybody where that script is because that script I actually placed in the, guess where guys? The StreetText Academy. Oh, I talk about that all the time. Oh, are you all on that module? I don't know. Probably should be at this point, right? Gosh, guys, come on. I want you to start understanding everything that I put in that academy is for you to convert more leads, okay? So you just heard it from Jessica. She's just a week in. She just signed up for StreetText, and you said 3 listing appointments and 2 more on the way?
3 listing appointments, 2 more on the way. 1, actually, I talked to the lady. She's selling her house after her son graduates high school next year, and she's going to be contacting me. So I'm going to keep her on my drip. And so, again, that's a future one, but this is all just, it's where I didn't have it. I had buyers coming in from Zillow, but I didn't have the listings. And that's really where I wanted to try and like, you know, focus my energy on a little bit more. And so this has been a great tool.
Good job. Good job. We all know what's happening with Zillow, right? Selling homes now. And you know, the crazy thing about Zillow is that they were all about exclusivity for so long, and they kept on charging more and more and more money to get that exclusivity. And now coming full circle, they're like stabbing the realtors in the back. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where you got to really align yourself with the integrity of that company. And if they're not there to see you win, they're just trying to segment you or pigeonhole you. I would say really recognize that as those values that that company represents. Because ultimately, you're not just buying into a solution and a system. I think you're really looking into the community that you're getting into, right? Do you have a community like this that everybody really wants to rally to see you win? We don't like, even in the insider group, we don't like this thought, like competitive thought process. The Facebook marketplace is for everybody, right? And so everybody can win. It really comes down to your response to those leads, as you know. Right? And you have to be the superhero with the response, and you have to get face to face with the response. And I think you're seeing that right there, Jessica, which is cool. And even right there, the script that you use, and we'll kind of analyze that a little bit deeper because you took that from Marley. It's Marley. Remember Marley?
Yes.
And I got some great follow-up that I can share because she can't make it on this one today, but I'm going to share with you. She was sending some Facebook messages this morning based on the responses she's been getting from that email. And I'm going to share with you an example of her taking that conversation back to Facebook. Like I always tell, we're looking at Facebook as a CRM now, like our personal ones. And that one of the people that she friend requested actually started a conversation with her, and they took that conversation into Facebook, and I'll share with you shortly here what that looks like. Thanks, Jessica. That's so cool. I'm so excited, and thanks for sharing with us. Anybody else want to share anything that's happened recently, or just some fun wins like on this side? And I can see that we got Laura here, Emily.
Terry wanted to share earlier. I know you want to share something, Terry.
Okay, Terry, share, please. Quick question. Okay, I'm gonna unmute you, and you're gonna share. I'm gonna unmute you. Go ahead.
Well, that has been one of the quickest things for me. I just do a 15-second video. How can I help you? What valuation would you like? I have not seen anything, so I'm still tweaking my process on getting somebody to actually call me back. So I do like that. It's easier to do the video and just send it. So easy for me. Not sure it's working yet.
Okay, I always do this. Logan, when you see me, or I guess you can unmute me. I wish I could make you unmute me. So Terry, when you use that quick question, are you using it as the follow-up email to the automated email? Yeah. Yes. Okay. So the key on that idea of the whiteboard, you can translate it into the automation as well, right? And so the automation aspect of this would be, it's just as easy to do the whiteboard in the automation because I feel like it's personal too. So that quick question thing would be a smart way to go on the initial email. That whiteboard is genius because when they see it for the first time, when they open it, they think it's personalized to them, number one. Right. And then the part that I love about BombBomb that is not, it doesn't have the same, there's not any other video features or video email features that I know of in other companies, but with BombBomb, they do the GIF. So the GIF meaning for the first few seconds, they can see you, they get a sense of your personality, right? They see you mouthing what you're about to say. They see your smile. They see, your body language light up a little bit. It gives them an initial impression chance to discover, we all make those initial judgments, whether we like it or not, in that moment of time to ask ourselves, is this somebody who I would connect with, right? And you want to give them that opportunity. So lead I would say that moment, that first moment they pull open that email, it might be the most important moment that they have. That might literally be the most important moment you have. So if you are not really focusing on that initial email, I mean, the follow-up to that email is really important too, guys. Like, obviously, and you could really, I think, really control the process if you think of it in terms of, it's like that 1-2 punch. The one punch is specifically the opening of the door, but the second one, it can almost be powerful. I like to think of the boxing metaphor. Logan, you're going to like this, the jab, right? Just a quick shock. Ooh, you know, I feel it. But then the follow through is where that follow through email, where you're personalizing and writing their name personally. John, quick question. Cindy, quick question. Maybe in the subject line, you're putting in the address, right? Regarding your home on 133 Glenridge, ... quick question, right? So when you go in there, always think of it in terms of, okay, and the personal follow-up, by the way, I like to make sure you guys understand that all these people that are going to be opening that email, if you're using Bomb right now, you should be using the tracking software aspect of it. So you should be knowing, especially on the follow-up side of this, you should be knowing, one, when you send it, you can see if it's been opened, but most importantly, if the video has been played. Because if it's been played, you can basically count that as, hey, this person has met me. Now it's all about how to get that conversation started. And hopefully that video is one where it's inviting, and I would encourage them to answer the questions. But for me, any win or any dialogue is a win. The problem that I have with people that are struggling on the conversion side of this is they're not seeing this really as, if you leveraging text-based or HTML or just the way the system works without any video, you're literally falling into the interpretation of 1,000 different ways. Literally, that email can be interpreted 1,000 different ways, especially if that person on that other end naturally is super guarded because they've been burned in the past by some sort of sales, whether it's a realtor or not. And they just think that everyone's out to get their business, right? So that's an extremely important thing. I'm just gonna lower my shades here for a second so you're not seeing half my eyes in sun. Logan, is there anything you want to add to that?
Just, I mean, to pile on a little bit more in that, real estate is a personal connection, right? I mean, we're not selling a product, we're selling a service. And you, once again, and I always beat this to death, but you're your brand, right? So you need to show who you are. You need to get yourself in front of these people. And the quickest and easiest way to do that is to introduce yourself through video. It's, in my opinion, it's very similar to, in a sense, the reason why we do our 7-day trials is that real estate agents have gotten so used to being sold, right? You know, buy our product, buy this from us. So what we've decided to do is, instead of selling it, we say, come experience it, have a sneak peek, so to speak. And if you like what you see, we'll move forward, right? So that's kind of, in a sense, that's sort of what you're doing as well, is here's a sneak peek as to who I am. I'm going to be the one representing you in these real estate matters. Do you like me? Do you see a connection? Well, then let's move this conversation further. But to rely only on written word, you are relying on their interpretation of what you've written down. So once again, you know, introducing yourself through video, it almost, the content of that video becomes less important when it's coming from you. So yeah, just the fact that you have a video and you're introducing yourself, in my opinion, you're much more likely to either secure the listing, or if nothing else, at least get that conversation going.
Can I ask another question?
Of course. You're muted, Marcus.
So I have quite a few that I think I just call them looky-loos. So they click it. I've called them. They said they don't remember signing up for it, whatever. They, you know, whatever they say it is. How do I change that to how can I help you in the future? You know what I mean? I'm want to build my model to do the video on everything. And if I keep sending them something, I guess that's not really going to pay off. Am I wasting my time there?
For me, if you want me to take that one, Marcus, one thing that I would like to do, if you get that ever happening, depending on where you are, of course, what I would probably do is pull title. get the actual name registered to the address that was submitted, and then reach out to them personally. And even then, if you just reach out to a random number and they say it's not me, so that's a tough conversation to have and turn around. But if you call the name on title, and then they say, well, I didn't submit the information, at least you can say, well, you know, what I like to do is make sure I research who actually owns the property, because I do have renters who've asked me in the past, and I don't want to give this information to somebody who actually doesn't own the property. So I'm doing my due diligence to make sure who owns the property before I send a valuation. So at least then you have a reason to be speaking to a homeowner. So that's not, I guess, ideal. That's not exactly what we're looking for, of course. It's a way to make something out of nothing, so to speak. But you should be getting more legit submissions than you're getting people who say, I didn't enter my information. And if that's the case, then it's really important to address your ad, because Facebook is if they're finding you more people like that than the good, it's important to pause that ad that you have running and start a new one, because you want to tap into a new stream. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's great. That's great advice, Logan. Okay, guys, what I want to share too right now is so we're going to go back to the initial 5 minutes where Jessica was talking to us about her wins. And I'm going to share with you the script that she's been using for those listing appointments. And so check this out. I'm going to share my screen. Looks like we have a raised hand question too. So Logan, maybe you can participate. I think that's John who's asked a question. But I'm going to share my screen, and then we're going to talk about this. Okay. Now these videos are small here. I don't know if I can make them bigger, but I'm gonna go back to the beginning conversation I had this morning, because I sent her and asked her if she could share what's been happening.
So I did have somebody respond to one of the videos and was like, yeah, come by on Monday at 5 p.m. And then when I went to go look up their property, it was already listed. And so I told them, hey, it's probably not a good thing that I come, because, you know, I would be giving you basically a listing appointment. And he said,
okay,
hey, Marcus.
Bear with me. These are, when she's doing it from her phone, they only allowed her to do 20-second clips. Let me just.
He would definitely give me, but he did say if he didn't sell with this agent that he would definitely give me a call. So I think that's a plus.
Hey, so just small wins, right? Again, you never know. It's okay that they, in this case, have another realtor, but that could definitely turn around if that realtor is not a fit, obviously. Let's hear what she says as well.
I had a Facebook person comment on one of my pictures that I had befriended, and I don't think he realized how I befriended him. And then we started chatting, and then I told him, hey, you know, by the way, you did send me your request for a home valuation. Are you still interested? And he was just really friendly.
Okay, keeps on going. Hold on, volume there.
He did say, well, he wasn't really looking for actually to sell. He just had done a renovation, and he just wanted kind of to see what the cost, you know, the new price was, but that he wasn't interested in selling anytime soon. But he actually might rent it out again. So he would contact me if I want the rental listing when the lease is up in April.
Okay, so she's going to get a rental listing out of that maybe?
And definitely, I still feel like it was a win, and definitely gives me more encouragement to befriend people on Facebook and to start up a chat, because even if they don't know how you became their friend and you throw it in there, it's a soft pitch, which I really think I like. So I still feel.
Okay, so I'm going to stop the screen there. So, wow, that sun is bright. So the key takeaway here, guys, is that Marley's just doing what we all should be doing, is humanizing the process, starting conversations with people. It doesn't matter whether or not they're ready, or if they have a realtor, or, you know, they're just doing renovations. The key is all you're trying to do is initiate relationship with people, because you never know the time and day in the future that relationship that you initiated becomes a client. It's not about clients today. It's about relationships today. Okay. And that's what we're all encouraging you to look at doing, is if you could become the person that they think of when they think anything real estate, that is going to be your goal. And it doesn't matter when you guys do business with this person in the future. The key is you're building this relationship today. You're building that know, like, and trust model today. You're initiating a relationship today. And if you can get that conversation to go to Facebook, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you friend request them, drop them into a list? And if, you know, it's just a small thing. They start following you. You might have something that you post that's interesting or creative, and they say something to you, and you're like, how did I become friends with? Oh, this is the person that, and this Marley was basically saying, oh, you know, by the way, you requested a home value a couple weeks back, and do you still want that? Right? So sometimes if you take an extra step and see that it's not just about your automation, it's not about the personal follow-up, it's also about taking it to Facebook, because once you get them to to accept that friend request, then you're now in their news feed every single day. Okay? Every single day. There's no drip email campaign that you can show me. Even if you have video, because video is obviously the powerful way to go as a newsletter, but there's no drip email campaign that you have today that can effectively be as strong as an influencer model as Facebook personally. Okay? So you all have the ability to have 5,000 friends, 5,000. And if you're like, well, I'm already maxed out, well, maybe you should start deleting some, because you got to ask yourself, are those people that you should have as friends, or are they just random people in there? And ultimately, have all those people that you have in Facebook as well, are they all in separate buckets? So you know, what's the point of having all those friends if you don't have an idea of who they are and what they're there for and what you're going to be doing with them in the future? Obviously there's going to be your friends, your family. We talk about this all the time, but I guarantee you, all of us have room, if we really look at it, to start thinking about these leads as a way of contributing to our personal Facebook, because that's what we want to do. If we're going to be posting social media content, let's make sure it's content that, is real, is raw, relatable. Real, raw, and relatable, okay? And that's, you're going to have your real estate stuff for sure, but you're going to be basically posting things that represent you as a human, like things that you love, things that you're passionate about, things that you like, your values, right? Anybody that doesn't care to follow that is nobody you need to have as a friend anyway, right? So I don't want you to worry about, I need to separate my personal faith from my business. No, you need to keep it all there on your personal page. And these are the people that, that's good news that need to hear. That's good stuff. They're going to see your mentality. They're going to see the way you train. They're going to see the food you eat. They're going to it's just connecting. It's just connecting, guys. So bring it, okay? Bring it onto Facebook, and you guys are going to do even better, because before you know it, some of these leads that you've been working this way are just going to all of a sudden message you or comment on something, and all of a sudden the conversation is going to begin again, and you're going to be like, oh, this is why. Okay, cool. And it's going to just start showing you exponentially how powerful this is. Okay. Here's another thing. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to show you the initial script that we were talking about. So let me get to here. Where is it? I got so many tabs open. Okay. So here is the follow-up idea, okay, that Jessica was talking about. Okay, so how should you respond to the home value request? So Jessica was talking about the script down here, and I'll share with you the video shortly to put it all into context. But you submit your information for the home valuation on Facebook. Again, if you guys want this, just go to my course. Okay, that's it. It's easy as that. Go to this module. It's there. Everything is there. You submitted your information for a home valuation on Facebook regarding your property at 631 Southwest 67th Terrace in Pembroke Pines. So in this case, guys, it's like a combination of what Donna does, if even you know Donna's strategy, but it's a little bit different and unique, and I really like it. And I'll share with you the contrast between Donna's shortly. But I think Marley, like in many ways, I feel like she's going to be the next superstar. I mean, based on what she's doing right now and how much of an influencer she is with social media. So what she's basically saying is, I did the research on the homes that recently sold in your neighborhood, and without looking at your home, I'm able to provide you with the internet's best guess. I love it. The internet's best guess at your home value, which is about $265 to $303. So she's basically leaving this $40,000 discrepancy there. Like, what is it, right? But I know I can do better than this. So if you'd like to figure out, if you like a figure you can count on that is custom to your home, it'll take just a 15-minute walkthrough of your home to see the current condition. And I promise, no long PowerPoint presentations. Let me know if Wednesday at 6 p.m. or Thursday at 9 a.m. works for you. Okay? Now let's hear what she says.
Hi, it's Marley. Just letting you know that I attached the internet-based valuation that I said I was going to send. If you want a more accurate or custom one, of course, that will take just about 15 minutes to walk through your property. I'll even bring my favorite cupcakes for you to try. So if that's something you're interested in, just go ahead and let me know what time works for you. Talk soon.
Yeah, that's cool, right? I mean, I want some of those cupcakes. Logan, I know you want some of those cupcakes. I know all you want some cupcakes, but it's,
I love cupcakes. I'm a fat kid.
But you know, I mean, here's the thing, guys. That's inviting, right? Like warm, authentic, smiling, even offering you some cupcakes. Like, I mean, you know, even if that person is really just curious or not willing to sell, they're gonna smile, and they're gonna feel cozy inside. And ultimately, if Marley's doing her best practices and continues to follow up with that person and takes that conversation back to Facebook, that's where this is going to become, you know, the model of the future, right? So that's something to consider. Jessica, that was the script, hey?
Yes, that was exactly the script. Like I said, I just took a screenshot of it last time we met, and it works really well. I think it's light, and I think it's like you said, it's friendly, and it's not too, it doesn't sound scripted, and it personalizes it with their address as well. And so they really feel like, okay, she is talking to me. It's not just a generic, here's your zone of pricing. So I really liked it.
Yeah, I mean, and just for anybody that got onto this appointment late, Jessica is brand new. She's only been with us like just a week now, Jessica, right? And 3 listing appointments and a couple on the way. With that, is that correct? Just to reiterate that.
Yeah, actually, I have 2 this week. I have 2. I'm setting one up on Friday, so it'll have 2 next week, and then I have 2 more that want to meet with me as well. So that'll be 5, 6.
Now, can you tell us, because I can share with you how Donna does it, but can you tell us, Jessica, how you do that guesstimate? Like, where do you find that price point, and how wide do you keep that price point when you send that first email?
My price point I keep pretty wide, only because I want to see the condition of the home. So I usually do about a 60,000 range. And I look at my MLS. I look at sold in the area. So I always do true sale, true value. And then I also do pull up Zillow just to kind of see what Zillow's saying about it. And then I go from the sold to, I look at pending, and then I look at Zillow, and then I kind of just do a ballpark. Again, I keep it nice and wide because I do like that next sentence of, I can do better than this. So let me get in front of you and show you how I can be better.
That is awesome. Thanks. I mean, I think everybody get that. Like, again, this will be on recording, and I will post it in, guess where? The StreetText Academy, just so you know. Val, you want to see that script again? You know where you can find it? The StreetText Academy, just so you know, okay? It's all there. So, and you can watch this recording there too. So if you have any other things that you want me to build in there between Logan and I, we could figure it out. We could build a video, we could build a module. Just go in there. The more you interact, by the way, with that StreetText Academy and comment on it, like comment on things that you like or things that you want me to elaborate a little bit more on, the better we'll be able to build it. The more everybody can win. Also, I do encourage you all to participate in the StreetText Insider group, right? It's there for a reason, and there are all the StreetText members across North America that are all trying to do this together. So if we can just talk about wins in there, if we can discuss strategies in there, if we can really come around and, if we see someone struggling in there and just pick them up and encourage them, that's just going to be a win for all of us. Okay. Anybody else before we switch to any other subjects? Jessica, have you thought about your address only? So I'm going to use you because you're bold and talking right now. Until someone else talks, I'm just going to keep on pulling you out. address only, have you thought about like mailers and templates or specific, you know, do you have a strategy for those guys? Are you going to pull up tax records for those guys and try to find them on Facebook? Or are you going to, or is that just a, you know, a strategy when you have time to get to?
Yeah, right now I haven't because, and I really want to reiterate that I feel like the only reason why I have so many leads is because I feel like the market that I'm in right now has been untouched by other agents. And so and like I said, because I have so many that are coming in, I'm really trying to just work on the ones that are giving me the information that they really are serious about it. The ones that are giving me the address, I do have those in a separate folder and I will get back to those. But right now, I do have quite a few that I'm working on, and I'm leaving the country in 2 weeks. So I'm trying to get as many listing appointments as I can before I go.
Nice. Where are you going to?
Australia.
Oh, jealous. That is amazing. How long are you going to be there for?
Almost 3 weeks.
Wow. Just for fun?
Well, it's a vacation and my brother-in-law is getting married.
That's cool. That's super cool.
So,
yeah. You know what you could do is you could still leave the leads on and just have an autoresponder that says, "I'm in Australia. I'll be back when I get back. I will definitely address your home value." Right?
Yeah.
I mean, so just a thought process, like if the ad itself is like really good and you don't want to lose that algorithm, because sometimes when you turn it off, you have to reset it and you can lose the performance behind it. So
okay.
Just something to think about. Okay, now here's a huge update. I don't know if you guys recognize this in your account, but I'm going to, you remember all that link that I would always talk about, the /boost/Facebook/ads? That link is where you go track the data and the analytics and the metrics, but now there's updated reports there. So powerful. So I want you to all go there. I'm going to share my screen in a second here. But I want you to go to this link in your own dashboards. If you can, at the same time we're talking here, I'm going to give you this link. Go to this link in your account, like pull up your dashboard. And we'll all talk about like what we're seeing here. I think it's going to be a powerful thing. Jessica, you can even see, if you go to that link, it'd be fun for people to see, like you're saying, I think I hit the jackpot here. What does the performance say in that report? You gotta unmute yourself.
Okay, here I am. So both of my ads that I have running are saying that they're doing phenomenal.
Ooh, phenomenal.
Phenomenal, yes. So my first ad, I have two that are running. My first ad, my CPC is 63 cents.
Ooh.
And my second one is 90 cents. My emails are about $1.48 to 85. And I have reached, let's see, and 10 with my first ad and 17 with my second.
That's amazing.
Did you hear me? Okay.
I did.
Just
I did hear. I think it cut out for a little second, but the key is what was your cost per email on both of those?
My first one is $1.48.
Yeah.
Per email, and then my second one is $3.48.
Okay, so if you guys want to know, and what's the average home sale in your market?
About 300,000.
Okay, now if you guys want to benchmark that, okay, you benchmark that against the particular funnel she's running it from, which is the conversion property valuation funnel. And if you look at that funnel, what it's going to share with you is that the average email collected North America wide is about $6.50. So she's definitely tapped into a great model. Okay, so the reports and maybe have all of you. Ooh, Emily, well, you are in $1 million market, okay? So the key is, even with you, though, you got to continue to split test. That's the whole point of having those funnels there is we want to look at, like, what is Emily, unmute yourself for a second if you don't mind. What is the report telling you about that email?
What do you mean? What should I be looking at?
Well, if you look at the new update, you should be seeing something like this. Let me share it with you. You should be
Yep.
seeing your view recommendations. Your ad is okay.
It says fair.
Okay, so and then click on the view recommendations.
Okay.
And what is it telling you?
Your ad is fair but needs improving. We recommend broadening the size of the area you are targeting.
Okay, and so what is that ad that you're running?
What do you mean?
Like what is it, a seller or a buyer ad?
It's a seller ad.
Okay, and what's the area that you're running it in?
My area, Richmond.
Okay, is it specific to certain postal codes in Richmond, or is it all of Richmond?
No, all of Richmond.
Okay, so the thought process probably would be turning that off, relaunching it in Richmond, and considerably taking an approach along the lines of, like, if I go to your light bulb and click on funnels, for example.
Yep.
And I'll just share with you in this account, this is Donna's, but I want to share with you, like, so when you go to select and you're looking to do sellers, you have a couple variations I want you guys to consider looking at. You have the seller property valuation conversion, and then this other one that I want you to potentially try too is the seller's equity ad as well.
Okay.
There's not a lot of tests been done on this one, but it's another variation of the conversion side, just a little bit different text. And I'm seeing it actually work well. So even though there's not a lot of data on there, it's one of those, I think, if it got more data, we might see some better numbers in here. So obviously you're always looking at, the active users on these funnels and determining whether or not it's an ad you want to run or not. But we always recommend look at the seller property valuation conversion. And then there's so many variations of that you could run before you give up on Richmond. And what I mean by that is, if you focus on, for example, if you go to, I'm just going to mute you for a second, Emily. If you go to this area, like, and let's just type in, like, if you put in Richmond there, for example, right? And then if I went to Richmond here, Richmond, BC. Am I spelling it wrong? There we are. Richmond, British. There we go. Okay. And then we did the same thing here. What you're going to want to look at is there now is the satellite image, right? That's the default. There's a map image, and then there's a terrain image. So for the mountainous areas, the terrain image is really cool, right? I mean, so you can see, like, when you start getting into terrain and you got really close, like just say we were doing North Vancouver, for example, right? So start looking at that image as a potential, like, variation of that particular ad that you're running, and do a test. Like, the key is if you run them all, let's just say at $10 a day overnight, and you wake up in the morning and you have like 3 different ads. I've done this with a lot of people. And one of the ads is producing $1 a click. The other one's producing, only got 1 click at $5. Like, I'm smart enough to realize that that ad is probably not going to win anymore. So I'm just going to turn it off. Right. And so I don't necessarily have to wait 24 to 40 hours before, you get one of those reports. I can make some strong decisions just by knowing how the ad is starting off. If the ad is starting off under $2 a click for you, Emily, it's wise to probably consider giving it a little bit more time. Let's just say 24 to 48, like Logan always recommends. But if it starts off at $5 a click, you could basically go in and take it off. But what if you were to run, a variation where you do one of them being a satellite image, one of them being a map image, and one of them a terrain image, right? And you basically let them go to the marketplace and see which one wins. And let's say you did that, but at the same time you tried the equity ad the same way. So you literally had 6 variations of that particular ad, 3 of the equity, 3 of the conversion ad, with a satellited terrain and a map, and you basically let them go to fight for each other in that marketplace.
How did you get to this again?
You're basically just going into
The funnels?
evaluation conversion and clicking select.
But you can use one funnels with 3 different images?
No, you'd have to
Experience one at a time.
one at a time. You'd have to
Okay.
launch them all separately,
Okay.
right?
Yep. And then just to clarify, so if I have $9 a day, it doesn't matter how many funnels I have. Its maximum is $9 a day, correct?
No, you can run $20, $30, $50.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah. So if it's $20, I can run like 5 funnels, but it's the maximum will still be $20 a day, right?
Well, meaning every ad that you run is going to have that separate ad budget behind them. So,
Oh, okay.
the thought process is spend a little bit more up front, but let's just say you ran 6 ads, Emily, overnight at $10 a day. You're not going to spend $60 before you decide which ad wins. You're going to probably spend $20 to $30 and maybe even less if you're smart and on it, but you're going to have the ability to
Find out,
let the winner continue.
Okay.
And if you get the winner, then you can't put a dollar sign on what that's going to do for you in the future.
Okay.
Right?
Thank you. Yep.
Okay. So the key there, guys, and I'll stop the screen share for a second, is we talk about this all the time. Whatever your ad is basically saying right now, if its recommendation is, poor, fair, or just you need to change it, then just turn it off and relaunch it. Relaunch it in the same community, but relaunch it in 3 different ways and see if you can beat that. You'll always have that last ad to benchmark and turn back on if you need to come back to it. Go ahead, Emily.
I have a question. I read somewhere on StreetText that, I think it's one of Jonathan's email, that it's better to lower the budget rather than turn it off because it'll hurt the engagement because it starts from 0 again.
Logan, you would know a little bit more on that. Isn't it about 72 hours before they lose the relevancy on that?
Basically, Facebook does things in 72-hour blocks. So if you pause your ad for more than 72 hours, you're essentially resetting relevancy performance entirely. You're starting a brand new ad basically by pausing it more than 72 hours. The same can be said by lowering your budget by more than 20% within that same 72-hour period. So if you lowered it from, say, $9 a day down to $5 a day, you've basically done the same thing as pausing it for 72 hours. The wisest thing to do is probably to lower it, but do it in increments of less than 20% over 72 hours. So do it from 9 down to 750 or something like that. Let it sit for 72 hours and then lower it again, staying within that 20% threshold.
That's great. That's great. So yeah, Emily, like if you're like, I love Richmond. I want to be in Richmond. This is my main area. Then my recommendation to you is run 6 different variations of that. And then, you might want to also experiment with some of the other funnels. Like they don't have a lot of data on it, but like this one is not a bad one right now. What's your home really worth? It's producing some pretty good numbers across the industry. It's basically the thing about this one that I like. It's you can go as broad as you want. Let's say you want to drop a radius in there. Like for example, if I wanted to run this one, I could drop a pin in Richmond and then draw a complete radius and go as wide as I possibly want because it's not saying anything, right? It's not like, let's just say I pick an image from stock and I run this image. Let me just find one I like. Maybe I'll run this one, for example. What's your home really worth? Enter your address, receive your home value. Now, it's not saying anything on there, so I can literally go to Richmond, BC, and I might just literally go, I'm gonna throw a 5-mile radius around that. I mean, literally, you gotta, this is the beauty. And also when you're doing this Richmond ad, like you can start thinking outside the box. You don't necessarily have to think Richmond. If you work multiple areas outside of Richmond, think how you can group those all together as a name. If you can't, then obviously it's a little bit harder. That's why we recommend doing counties, because with counties, you can go, if someone were to buy your, Montgomery County home, would you sell it? And you could either drop a pin or you can, and you're targeting and put all those different areas and really the areas that you want to work. So start thinking outside the box, Emily, in terms of split test. You know, it's worth the $5 that you spend. And when you start them, start at that $9 to $10 range, understanding that you don't have to spend the full $10 before you make that decision to turn it off on or let it run, right? You're basically wanting to go in there with the idea of split testing and A/B testing is how you really tap into Facebook's marketplace. Any questions on that, guys? Gary, go ahead and unmute yourself. The little, you see that? The little, there you go.
Instead of doing $9, if you want to do like a split test every, like say like in New West, for different ads, can you just do the $5 at a time for each ad?
You could, yeah, you could do that. I mean, but why not just do the $9 and then like sleep on it when you wake up? It's only spent $4 or $5, right? I mean, I just find it gets into that audience faster.
Okay. One more quick question. So for my New West ad, I have the relevancy for it's a 7, but the ad still says it's an okay ad. What is that?
Keep it running. What's the cost per click? What's the cost per email? And what market are you in?
Cost per click is, as the new SBC, cost per click is $1.73. Cost per lead is $3.14. Cost per email is $7.67.
Okay, and what market?
New West, British Columbia.
New Westbridge. What's the average home sale?
New Westbridge. That's like Vancouver.
Yeah.
Oh, well then keep it running.
Yeah.
Because you got to always think of it in terms of your $7 email that you're paying for right now in $1 million market. You can't think of it in terms of the industry average of $650 because that's incorporating homes that are $100,000, $200,000 there as well. So it's always relative to your own marketplace.
Okay, so that ad is good. Okay. Right.
Yeah.
What we've done here, Gary, is during these meetings, or I guess over the long term, what we do is we look at these ads relentlessly and figure out what the benchmark should be for basically all of our clients everywhere. So that once again, like Marcus is saying, it includes Central Texas, where you can get a home for $100,000. It includes markets like yours, where the average sales price is roughly $1 million, right? So we do have to take that into consideration a little bit, but we built an algorithm based on what we see being the benchmarks. So, a cost per click of under $2 is what we look for. A cost per email of $6.50, cost per lead, all those things are taken into consideration our entire platform. So that's why yours would show kind of, being good, fair, or otherwise based on the parameters we're seeing everywhere. But yeah, in your market, certainly a $7 email is quite good, I would say.
Awesome. So Edith, I think you got a question on what happens to when someone goes on vacation and unable to get to the ads as quickly. So the thought process there is you want to create an autoresponder that reflects that and just let them know that, you'll be in touch with them when you get back on the vacation. So the key is you then would want to make sure that in the automations you turned off day 3, 7, 10, all those days, right? And in my thought process, I don't know if you guys are, how many of you are using day 3, 7, 10, all those ones over there, or just turning them off? Because my thought process is until you really tackle the first one, you don't really need to be having those firing, because that, if anything, that could annoy people, especially if it doesn't have your handprint on it. So how many of you are just keep that running, and how many of you have turned that off? I'm just curious. Anybody? Edith, what have you done with those emails? Go ahead.
I turned on the drips as of last week. I kept them off until I got a handle on how to work the system. So now that I got kind of my arms around it, now I have the drips on, and I start them after I send out the home valuation. If I don't get any response, then the drips kick in at that point.
Okay, and just know that those drips are like automatically meant to go out on day 3, day 7, et cetera. And so don't just let them ride without going in there and reading every single one. And potentially you're going to want to edit every single one to reflect something you would say, right? Because also, I mean, you're always still going to want to make sure that your first initial email and this follow-up email that you send are both the most important ones. And then if anybody has a phone number, you need to literally make sure that Julie or whatever you want to call her is set up in such a way to have you win, and always respond to those leads as Julie. Now, Jessica, did you have that firing? I'm just curious. Did you have that portion of your system firing until we turned it on, or what? Give me your idea on how that's been working for you.
So within 24 hours of me getting the request for the home valuation, I send them the home valuation. And so then I feel comfortable leaving day 3, day 7, day 10 drip on there, because I know that I've already sent them the home valuation, and now the drip is just following up with them. I will say, however, I do need to go in there, and because I have already communicated with so many of them, turn some of that off. And so thank you for the reminder.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And you guys, you got to define this process and ultimately what's going to be for you. So, and Jessica, how long does that process take you to do a quick research on that home between, you were talking about Zillow and Redfin and all these different areas that you use? I think the key for everyone to understand is if you're going to use that process, create what we call snippet email. And I use BombBomb for it, but it's basically, you've already pre-templated the text that you're going to send out to everybody with their home. You've all essentially pre-templated the video if you really need to. I know Donna does that. She does a follow-up to video, and I'll share with you shortly what she does. But make this process easy for you, because if you're going to actually address the home value, make it as fast as possible. So Jessica, what do you do on that?
It takes me about 10 minutes to do it, and that's personalizing the subject line, personalizing the email with their home address, talking about, I have to look at the dates to make sure that I'm available for those dates that I give them. And then that really, like I said, it takes me about 10, maybe 15 minutes per email. So it's not a long time. It just, especially because I have a template already set in there. So I just put StreetText day 1, and then it just automatically populates, because I do still use my CRM, which is Follow Up Boss, but all your StreetTexts go straight to it, so it works out for me. You're still unmuted.
Here we go. There we go. This is Donna Swansea's process. So this is the first one that she sends out, and it's essentially the auto email response. So let's see what she says here.
Hey there, it's Donna Swansea with Century 21 Judge 5, and I just wanted to let you know that I got your request for your home value, and I'm working on that now. If there's anything that you think I need to know specifically about your home that may increase the value, please just respond to this email and let me know, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Bye.
Okay, now she's got a follow-up one too. And so this is her follow-up one, and she sent me this the other day, and this person responded to this video and said, yes, I received it, thanks. And essentially, Jessica, it's just kind of similar to what you did there, and I'll tell you how she pulls it up. But she's got a whole course, right? The reason why we designed a course with Donna is because she's done, at this point, 100, maybe 120, I don't know. It keeps on climbing, deals with StreetText since she started with us. But also recognize that Donna is not running a $9 a day ad budget. In many cases, she's up to, I've seen her spend, $50 a day. But that's because she scaled her business as a result of her success. So just know, once you start experiencing success with StreetText and you start making good money, you can start reinvesting in different funnels and reinvesting in different areas. And she runs multiple ones. This person says, we have a lot of updating, decluttering to do over the next year. I plan on retiring around the middle of 2020. That's when we'll be putting the house on the market. When that time comes, I will definitely give you the first shot at listing it, right? Top of the funnel, guys. Facebook is the top of the funnel type stuff. This is her follow-up video after addressing the home value.
Hey there, it's Donna Swansea with Century 21 Judge 5. Just checking in to make sure that you receive your home value and to let you know that if you need anything at all, I'm always here to help. Have a great day. Bye.
Okay. So let me stop share for a second. So, and that's literally her process. And she has a way probably similar to Jessica of finding that value and sending that email, but it's the initial intro, the follow-up, and it's the power of the consistency of that process in itself, just like what you're doing, Jessica. It's like you invest in that process, you invest in the guesstimate idea where you give them a wide range, but you do that wide range so they want to actually, and they're like, no, I need to find out what my home is actually worth. And just by doing that 1, 2, 3 basically combo over and over again, and then on top of that, if you use the Facebook thought process and adding them as a friend, dropping them into a list called, let's just say, seller leads, imagine what this will look like a year from now. Imagine, because you're not going to be able to always track immediately the ROI on this, but I guarantee you, a year from now, your mind's gonna be blown, right? And for most of you, one deal pays off your StreetText system. Let's be honest. Okay, so that's why I always tell you, anybody who's on a month-to-month plan with StreetText, like, start looking bigger. Get into 6 months or a year, because you could be saving $80 to $90 and reinvesting that into something like BombBomb. Okay, and reinvesting that into more marketing budget. You got to look bigger. This is a top of the funnel type of lead conversion. It's really more about nurturing relationships, and you have to be in it for relationships. You can't just be in it for transactions. You got to be in it on becoming an influencer, taking that conversation back to Facebook, getting face-to-face with as many people as possible, and then nurturing them through social media as well. That's what the whole point is. You don't want to rely on your drip campaign to nurture them. You're only one person, right? So where's your greatest place of influence? It's back on social media, where they spend 60 minutes a day, and the numbers are crazy and growing. So they're not going to be spending that same time in their emails. I'll tell you that much, right? And whether or not they open it and receive it the way you want them to, and how are you going to really even remind yourself to check in with that person, right? I mean, your systems are for, but why not just use organically something like Facebook, where you can be reminding them every day based on the posts that you're posting? And eventually, you keep them in that list too. If you keep them in that list, you're going to revisit the list. Let's say you go back to, I'm going to share my screen, for example. Let's say we're on Facebook, right? Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you guys, because I'm jumping from things to things here. When you go pull up that report, you can also pull up that ad. So that report, that Facebook /Facebook /ads that I share with you, it's view ad. The view ad will take you to the comments, the likes, the shares on this. How awesome is that? This is where everybody's been asking, how do I share it to my personal page? Well, you'll share it from here. It's because it's going to take you to your ad. If you're logged into Facebook, you should be logged in on your personal page. Now you can share it on your personal page, and you can even get more relevancy in your own community, right? And I mean, what's the beauty of this too, guys? When I go to share something, okay, check this out. Let's just populate this for a second, because this is going to be a good understanding here for you. Well, it's not doing it for me, and maybe I'm like, I'm sorry, Donna, I might have just shared it on my page for you. So when you go on, there's my little boy, my Omi, she's actually 97 now. When you go to friends lists, here are all the different lists that you've created, right? So think about it in terms of your A clients, your buyers, your sellers, your StreetText leads. Like, let me just use this list for example. You're gonna always be populating these new seller leads into this list, and over time, you can have them in multiple lists. Because if I want to manage my list, I can have my seller leads also be buyer leads, also be A-list clients. You can have the same person in 3 or 4 different lists. And when you go to post something, well, first of all, you're gonna always want to just check to see what the last conversation you had with this person on Facebook, because you can track that. There's no better trackability than there. But when you go post something, and I know we're hitting the last minute here, guys, it's just a powerful thing. Your default's public, right? But what if you drop that down? I think we got so many pages down, but hopefully it'll show you so I can share. Okay, here we go. Okay, more, right? See all. So what if I want to do a custom list? I want to share it with this list, right? These lists. I want to share it with StreetText. I want to share it with buyers, sellers, all these people that I want. But I don't want to share it with my realtor friends because I've already put all my realtor friends in a bucket. Make sense here? So when you start posting stuff, you can get really selective with who is this supposed to be in front of. Okay? But also having people in those lists will be giving you reminders of staying in front of those people that you want to stay in front of, and occasionally using Facebook, liking something, commenting something, or going to their Facebook Messenger and, popping out your phone for a second and just being like, hey, Cindy, just wanted to check in. I know you requested the home value 6 months ago. The market has changed. I'd be happy to do a complimentary walk through your house. Just, that type of thing. So that's the power of getting it back to Facebook. Okay. Okay, guys, I don't want to take too much more of your time. It is the top of the hour. Hopefully you got a lot of value of that. Is there any last minute questions that Logan and I can answer? And if there is, unmute yourself and just go for it.
Hey, I'll quickly answer this one that I was just going to type out a message to Dee and Peter here. We're kind of in the chat bar. One thing else to highlight is that the other thing as a realtor that we can offer people other than just their home value is potential places to invest to get their home market ready. So for people who might not be ready to list right away, let's say they're 6 months away, whatever it may be, that's great. Now's still a good time to have me by to look at your property, because not only will I be able to tell you what your home might sell for, but also I can help you with areas that may need some improvement. Obviously curb appeal, ensuite bathroom, kitchen. We know as realtors that those are the areas that most people are looking for. And you can basically say that I show buyers homes like yours all the time, right? So when I walk through a particular home with a buyer, I know what they're saying, what they're commenting, what they're looking for, what they don't care about. So, fixing the flooring in your basement, if it's already finished, is that a wise investment? Of course not. Right? If it's already square footage in the listing, you don't necessarily need to, put new carpet downstairs, although it may help a little bit, but you're not going to get the most bang for your buck with that. However, new hardware in the kitchen, something like that, or once again, cleaning up, decluttering the master ensuite bathroom. Those are huge things that you'll be able to suggest to these people. And once again, all it is trying to get a meeting. If you can get yourself in that door, whether it's for evaluation, a listing presentation, or even just give them some ideas, when they turn around to list, they're not going to Google realtors in their area. They're going to give you first crack at it.
Great suggestion, Logan. That was awesome. Okay. Well, hey, Gary, I know you got questions, so I would say personally message Logan and I, so we're not getting past the hour here too much. But if any of you has anything that you want to elaborate on that you've learned from today, just send us a message. And again, I'll send this recording will be updated in the course, right? All of us are enrolled in that. I know we all are, right? Because we talk about it all the time. And anything you would like us to build as well, is there more modules that we haven't hit yet? Let us know and we can build that. I mean, even Logan, that's a great suggestion what you just said. I'd love to have that in the course for people. And yeah, just let's continue getting here. Make this a non-negotiable. If you can make this every Wednesday, I mean, how much value did we get in this today? If we did this every Wednesday, we should all be converting our leads, right? We should all be, because it's not a matter of if it's going to happen, it's when it's going to happen. So let's just stay consistent with whatever practice we implement. And you guys can all be listing appointments, just like Jessica, who's already on number 5. So let's do it. Okay. Have a great day, guys. We'll talk soon.